A very good evening, my dear children. Let's have a look into the psychoanalytical theory today. Psychoanalytical theory of personality is one of the most important and most valuable theory in our syllabus. This is one of the major movement in the field of psychology. The chief proponent of psychoanalysis is Sigmund Freud. Freud is a neurosurgeon. He is an Austrian neurosurgeon who actually contributed to the development of psychoanalytical approach. If we observe the psychoanalytical theory of Sigmund Freud, it's the most controversial in the human history, I can say to you. The psychology before Freud was going in a traditional way, means they are just studying the behavior, or the Gestalt psychology is focusing on perception, Wundt's structuralism is focusing on sensations, feelings. This was the situation. Here you can see Freud actually studied the human behavior on the base of unconscious motives, drives, instincts, impulses. I can say the raw sexual desires are the main area in the Freudian psychoanalysis. So let's have a look into this area first. Sigmund Freud born in Austria. Basically he's from a town called Frisburg. Frisburg is near to Moravia, and Moravia is near to Vienna. Freud is a graduate from the Vienna Medical College, and he was officially recognized in the year 1896. And his most famous work is Interpretation of Dreams. A vast amount of research articles, reviews, journals published by Freud those days were destroyed by the Nazis in Germany. The rise of Hitler in Germany troubled a lot of people, and one among them is Sigmund Freud. Freud escaped from Germany and he settled in UK, means in England, and he died in England in the year 1939. So let's have a look into this area. A big list is there. Freud's literary work on aphasia 1891, a case of successful treatment by hypnotism, obsessions and phobias, studies on hysteria, the interpretation of dreams, one of the most important and valuable book. The psychopathology of everyday life. You see, this is again one of the most famous work of Sigmund Freud. Jokes and their relation to unconscious. You will come to know about each and everything in his psychoanalytical theory today. Let's have a look into his literary work. Who are the people who influenced Sigmund Freud also we will see. There are many people who highly influenced Freud. One among the few of them I am going to discuss. The few are the very important people. Joseph Breuer. Joseph Breuer, a Austrian neurophysician. The neurophysician. He is very popularly known for his cathartic talk therapy. I can say the first person who recognized, the psychotherapy as a way, means like venting out the feelings, like catharsis is a venting out the feelings to come out of the psychological distress. The very famous work of Joseph Breuer is Anna Wo. It's actually the story which talks about Bertna Pappenheim. Bertna Pappenheim was his patient, or I can say the client, who was suffering with a kind of paralysis. And just making her to talk about her problem, share about her problem, he made her cure, and it was found as she was improving. So he called it as a talk therapy. The talk therapy later termed as cathartic talk therapy. Soren Kierkegaard, a Danish philosopher and chief proponent of existentialistic school of philosophy. I can say here, Kierkegaard's work on emotions and feelings of individuals, is one of the significant work which influenced Freud. The third one, Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche, a German philosopher, again belongs to the school of existentialism. Nietzsche's famous works are, basically you can say Nietzsche's contributions in the existentialism is very high. The most famous statement of Nietzsche is the God is dead. Jean Charcot, the man who trained Sigmund Freud in hypnotism, a French hypnotist, world famous hypnotist from France. Freud along with his friend Paul Eugen Bleuler and Freud spent more than 1 year to receive the training under Jean Charcot, a world famous hypnotist. Next, Sophocles, the tragedy king in the Greek dramas. Actually, Sophocles drama, from the dramas written by Sophocles only, Freud got a lot of interesting terms and terminology like Oedipus complex, like Elektra. These are all actually taken from the different dramas. And Brantano is a philosopher, and his famous work is Philosophy of Psychology, which was actually very well known. But Brantano was influenced by Aristotle. Again, you see, theory of mind, inner perceptions, unity of consciousness, and the tripartition of the mental phenomena. These are the most famous works of Brantano. The last one, Fyodor Dostoevsky. Fyodor Dostoevsky, a Russian philosopher, novelist. His famous work, Crime and Punishment, The Idiots. See, the Crime and Punishment one, The Idiot is one, Demons is one. So these basically, these works of Dostoevsky influenced Freud here. So you can look into, I just gave a brief account of the people who inspired Sigmund Freud here. Let's go to the psychoanalysis. See, Freud basically a well-trained neurosurgeon. Being a neurosurgeon, he was working in Vienna Medical Hospital. While practicing in Vienna Medical Hospital, Freud met one interesting case. That interesting case is Anna. Anna, a woman suffering with various kind of psychological problems. While treating this lady Anna, Freud got his diversion. Means Freud took the attention towards psychological disorders, and there Freud realized to treat the psychological disorders, hypnotism is one of the most valuable method. So, with the support of Vienna Medical College, means he received a scholarship. He and his friend Bleuler, both the two migrated to Paris, and they studied hypnotism under Jean Charcot. They spent more than 1 year. It's not like, there are people who say after attending a 10-day workshop, they will come back and they say, I am the trained hypnotist. No, Freud spent more than 1 year to learn hypnotism. After receiving training, Freud returned back to Vienna, again started, he started using the hypnotism as a way to treat the psychological disorders. In the initial phase, Freud was very happy with hypnotism. Freud felt very happy because hypnotism is giving the result here. But after some time, Freud fed up with hypnotism because he started thinking in his own way. And he started thinking and saying that each and every client would like to share their feelings, their emotions. In hypnotism, just you are making the person unconscious and you are making him to relax. But you are not listening to the person here. So Freud started, writing articles on his own way of treating the psychological disorders. So this work done by Sigmund Freud is very popularly known in the field of abnormal psychology as psychoanalysis. Let us understand the psychoanalysis from our class 12 or a B.Ed trainee's point of view or the psychology student's point of view in 4 different areas. The first and the most important one is the stages of mind here. The stages of mind is a very interesting area and an important concept for us. Freud divided the human mind into 3 steps. Freud says the first layer, Freud compared the human mind with an iceberg actually here. You can look into this image, the iceberg which is inside the ocean of water. And the peak of the iceberg is top of the water. The peak which is top of the water and clearly visible to the outsiders is the conscious mind. and the portion of the iceberg which is inside the water, but we can see here, you can look into this portion, just you can look into this portion, a minor portion which is termed by Freud as pre-conscious, and the bottom of the iceberg which is very heavy, the bottom is very high, very heavy portion which is sinking in the water and we cannot see it. This is unconscious, Freud is calling. Before Sigmund Freud, psychology definition was psychology is a study of conscious mind. Just people started saying psychology studies the consciousness. Freud rejected this. Why he rejected, you see? Human behavior is totally unconscious according to Freud. You can see this iceberg. A small portion of the peak is only conscious mind. In between conscious and unconscious, there is a minor portion. Less than the conscious is pre-conscious. But the huge portion is the unconscious. A very huge. Bottom is very big. You see the iceberg or you see the mountain. The mountain's bottom part is very heavy and the peak will be very less. So the peak is conscious. So if psychology is focusing only on the conscious experiences, I can say it may be a 10% only, 10% of our behavior. So Freud rejected it. And Freud said it is basically unconscious, which is governing our behavior. Let's have a in detailed discussion about these three different areas. Conscious is the first level. It includes the thoughts, feelings, actions which people are aware. You see, here it is. Whatever is in your awareness, whatever is there in your mind and you can easily recall or easily reproduce, that all together is the conscious mind. Mental activities of which people may become aware, here we can say. The conscious brain is awakening mind, I can say. We can generally say it is the permanent long-term memory. For example, if I ask a child, Gokul, what is your name? Without any hesitation, the child will say, my name is Gokul. There is no need to think his name, you see. There is no need to think for anyone to say, what is your name? Whenever I ask, this is the conscious mind, permanent long-term memory, and the thoughts, feelings, actions totally are under our awareness it is. So this is the peak level. If you do the comparison with the iceberg, it is the top level. Peak level is the conscious. Let's go to the second stage of the mind here. The pre-conscious. If you see, pre-conscious is the second level. The pre-conscious includes the mental activity of which people may become aware only if they attend to it closely. What exactly meaning here? You see, pre-conscious. The things which are not properly encoded in our mind. We learn something, but it did not 100% entered in our mind. So that will be there in the pre-conscious mind. Means you know the answer in an exam, you know the answer, but you are not getting right now. And you are thinking. While thinking, you will get the answer, you see. If you try, you will get it. If you try to recall, you will be able to recall. That is the pre-conscious mind here. Pre-conscious. It is a very, very small portion of the memory. You see, very small portion of our mind is the pre-conscious. When we try to recall, we will get the solution. That is the pre-conscious. I can say the things which are not properly encoded will be kept in the pre-conscious. The third level, biggest portion of the human mind is unconscious. What exactly unconscious, if you see, it includes the mental activity that people are unaware of. According to Freud, the unconscious is a reservoir actually. It's very huge. It is very big portion. Unconscious will include the desires, the drives, the impulses, the ideas, the needs which you could not express in your life, which you could not gratify. Most of the raw sexual drives, desires, impulses, instincts. So most of the raw sexual desires here, drives, impulses, you see, all those concepts are kept in the unconscious mind. The things which you don't want to recall, all the sad experiences of your life, again, you see, sad experiences, your sad experiences, death of the loved ones, separations, breakups, failures, all those things, nobody want to recall with love of, with excitement, these things. You want to forget. So how you are forgetting here? By force. People prefer to forget the sad experiences by force. Here it is. You try to forget all those sad events in your day-to-day life by force, and these events will be kept in the unconscious. It's a big reservoir, you see. The number of negative incidents are increasing. That is an indication for us to increase the chances to develop the psychological disorders. It is a person with huge negative experiences going to develop certain psychological problems in the future, you see. So this is the most dangerous area for us, the unconscious we are calling. And we can say the unconscious events are basically the repressed memory we are calling. Why means we repress. Repression is a defense mechanism where we try to forget the sad experiences by force. All those sad experiences are kept in the unconscious. So if you look into the unconscious, repressed memory is one part. It is not total. Why means not only the sad experiences, even your drives, your desires, your wishes, you could not express also you will forget. So those things also will be there here. Now, you look into this area. This slide, if you observe, you can see conscious, preconscious, and unconscious. You see, these are the three parts, and we are just comparing this with the another area like id, ego, and superego. I will come back to you people for this slide after some time. Now, what is the structure of personality? You see, if you look into the structure of personality, the Freudian theory basically begins with the structure of personality with a concept called libido. Libido is the biological psychic energy which is there in each and every individual by birth. It is. Libido is the biological psychic energy which is existing in each and every child by birth. And this libido comes out after some time in the form of id. And this id will turn to ego, and the ego will turn to superego. You see here the images are given to us here. It is actually, you see, the evil thoughts. It is ego, you see, it is like society oriented, realistic. It is superego is totally, highly spiritual, moral, ethical. It is. We'll discuss about these three parts in detail. You see, in the structure of personality, Freud found there are two instincts. Two instincts are there first. One is life instinct, second is death instinct. You look into these two instincts, life and death instincts are there, and Freud gave more importance to life instincts and ignored the role of death instincts in this theory. Freud gave more importance, significance he gave to life instincts and ignored the role of death instincts. For your information, I will say here, life instincts are known as eros, E-R-O-S, eros, whereas the death instincts are known as thanatos, Thanatos. Thanatos is angel of death in the Greek mythology. I told you Sophocles inspired a lot. Okay, Sophocles is a Greek dramatist who inspired Freud. You see, these terms basically taken from the Greek mythology. Now, let's make a move to the first is the instincts, life instincts and death instincts are there. Freud ignored the role of death instincts and gave more importance to life instincts. And also, if you want to understand the existence of human life, Freud says here there is a conflict between the life and death instincts. As long as life instincts are dominating, human beings will survive. And finally, the death instincts will dominate, means that is the end of the human life. Here it is. You can understand here. Let's make a move to the libido, biological psychic energy which is present in each and every child by birth. Libido is the force behind the id. It is. Libido is the force which is energizing the id. So this one I discuss with you people. Libido is the most important for us. It's there in each and every child by birth. Now, it is what exactly you see. Animalistic behavior it is. It is animalistic behavior, you see. If you look into the animals, no morals, no ethics, no mother, no father, no sister, no brother relations are there. Animalistic behavior, you see. I told you people, Freudian theory is, you see, Freud's psychoanalysis is revolving around the sexual drives, desires, and impulses. So it is animalistic behavior. First point. Animalistic behavior means animals don't have any moral values among them. Maximum animals, there are certain species which are which will follow the morals and ethics, like there are people are saying, but we are not sure about this. It is moralless in nature, no morality. Need gratification is important, you see. Need gratification is important for it. Means the drives, desires, satisfaction is the most important. Ultimate goal is the need satisfaction. And it works on the base of principle of pleasure. Means the happiness is the ultimate goal. No morals, nothing. For example, you are hungry, you need the food, steal the food and eat. No problem. Morality is a zero here. Morality level is zero. When the baby is feeling whatever you need, you take it. This is basically id-oriented behavior. You see, you can say a person who is doing the crime very openly is what exactly? Say id-oriented person. There are people who come and who do something crime irrespective of situation. They don't bother about people who are watching them or not. You see, such kind of people are basically id-oriented. The second one is ego. You look into this area, the second concept here, it is ego. Generally, the word ego is used in layman's dictionary as different. Now, Freudian term is different. Ego, you see. Ego grows out of the id when the child starts accepting the society, you see. When the child is realizing the presence of others, when the child is realizing the presence of others or the people in the society, that time ego, you see, ego grows out of this id. Ego works on the base of the reality. It is mainly, you see, it works on the base of pleasure principle, whereas ego works on reality. Ego will develop due to interaction with the environment, you see. While interacting with the environment, the ego is going to grow. Means the child is accepting the police as authority, a kind of situation here. Teachers, the child will see the teachers are watching, school is observing, or the other fellow students are observing. So the child will try to little bit of control here, or the impulses which are coming from the id will takes place here. Superego. The third important area is superego. This superego, it works on the base of morality, moral or ethical values, you see. Superego works on the base of the moral and ethical principles in life. It is the very interesting fact here. It is the superego works on the base of the moral or ethical values. Like you see, the morals and ethical values are there in each and every religion. And the child, while looking into those morals, those ethics, the child will try to change his behavior here. You see, for example, you see, in front of everyone, stealing the money is id-oriented behavior. Everyone is watching and he is trying to, by force, someone is taking something from someone, you see, that is id. When no one is there, the person is doing the crime, that is ego. Even nobody is watching, nobody is observing him. There is some money is kept in front of him, but the child is saying, it is not my money, I will not take. That is the superego, you see. So look into this, only one situation you take here. Someone is forcing somebody to take out something, that is the id-oriented behavior. When someone is trying to do something wrong, but he is having the fear of the presence of other people, that is basically ego. Even nobody is observing, but those children who are strictly following the morals, ethics in life, they are superego oriented. I can say it is a kind of sainthood actually in the life of the people. So the superego is very interesting fact for us here. Most of the people, I can say here, ego oriented. In this world, most of the people are ego oriented. We are all ego oriented people. We do sometimes wrong things and we try to do something good things, because we see the people, situations basically makes us. If we are all super ego oriented, means I can say that the people should be like the treated like the saints only. So you look into this area. So life instincts, death instincts, id, ego, superego. These five aspects are there in the structure of personality according to Freud. You can look into this area. The questions here for you people, children, since it is a live streaming class, I may not be able to ask you or interact with you. You see, who is known as father of psychoanalysis means Sigmund Freud, a knowledge-based question. According to psychoanalysis, dash works on pleasure principle, it's id. According to psychoanalysis, dash works on reality, it is ego. You see, ego basically. Ego works on reality. What are the two instincts mentioned by Sigmund Freud in his theory? Life instincts, death instincts. Life instincts means eros, death instincts means thanatos. The things which are quickly recalled will be kept in which part of the mind? You see, conscious mind. I told you the permanent long-term memory. You ask someone, what is your name? Immediately he will reply to you. This is basically the conscious mind, you see. The things which we does not like to recall, you see, what you don't like to recall, the things which you don't want to recall, you see, this is basically your unconscious mind here. Now, we are going to the third area, defense mechanism. We look into this area. In the psychoanalytical theory, I can say, according to my knowledge, the only area which is not criticized, which is not controversial, and which is accepted by everyone in the society, that is the ego defense mechanism. There is no criticism on this area. Entire world agreed. Remaining all whatever Freud said is big controversial topic only. Let's see what exactly this area will see. Defense mechanism means it's a way of reducing our anxiety by distorting the reality. You know what we do actually, we try to reduce our anxiety while distorting the reality. We manipulate the reality in order to reduce our own anxiety. This is the defense mechanism. Right now, I'm going to talk only 5 defense mechanisms to you people, but there are many, 13 to 14 defense mechanisms are there. But these 5 are the most important. The first one, repression. We discussed already about the repression in unconscious. Repression is a defense mechanism. Repression is a defense mechanism, basically, you see, where people try to forget the unwanted experiences, all the sad experiences by force. By force forgetting, it is simple way we can say forgetting the sad experiences by force. This is repression. These sad experiences we are not going to totally forget. We are going to send them from our conscious mind to unconscious. Sending all the sad experiences to our unconscious, it is repression. But these sad experiences comes out in your day-to-day life sometime, in the form of dreams, nightmares, you see. All of a sudden these sad experiences will come back to conscious and will create a lot of disturbance in our personal life. Second important defense mechanism, projection. You see, projection. People will try to attribute their own traits to others. Means, for example, blaming someone for our mistakes or our failures. You ask a question here. You ask a question to a child who failed in the exam. The child did not. No child will say, "I did not prepare." The child will reply to you, "The paper is difficult." Nobody will say, I did very good work and I wrote very well." They will not say. Most of the people, they say, "Why you failed?" means you say the paper was very tough, evaluation is very tough, or the teacher is very bad. This is simple logic actually here. We try to blame someone for our mistakes. Why you are late means the bus is late. It's not me, the bus is late. You see, the defense mechanism, projection, we just blame someone, just to pass the buck to someone. So this is the projection. Like the slide projector is there. Any projector you take, OHP you take, overhead projector. The projector you keep the film and the reflection will be on the other side. In the same manner, mistake is with us, but we blame the bus driver. Why you are late means the bus is late. You see, why you failed in the exam means that fellow don't know how to teach psychology. Nobody will say, I did not study. Paper is lengthy. Another word. Nowadays, children are saying paper is very lengthy. Time, shortage of time. We don't say, I did not plan my time. You see, this is the projection. Denial. The third one, denial. Refusing to accept the truth or the reality. Yes, you go to a hospital. The doctor will diagnose you, and all of a sudden the doctor comes with the diagnostic report and says you have a chronic disease like cancer or something. Immediately, what is your feeling? You see, you will not believe it. You don't agree. You say maybe the report is wrong. You will have alternative ways. These hospitals want to loot us. Let us try with another hospital. Let's change the doctor. You see, we do all those things. We refuse to accept the truth or the reality. When you hear unexpected news, you cannot digest that one. It takes time for you to get adjust. So this is basically denial. The fourth one, reaction formation. See, reaction formation is what exactly here you see. A person tries to defend himself against the anxiety by adopting the behavior which is opposite to his or her behavior, you see. An individual with the strong sexual desires will try to follow the religious rituals in order to control those desires. You see, reaction formation. Very simple, you see. You know the world famous comedian Charlie Chaplin. He made everyone to laugh, but his personal life is more painful. You see, people who have more pain in their personal life, they make a lot of jokes. You see, people make a lot of jokes. They make a lot of fun. You see, basically, this fun is the pain actually comes out in the form of in a funny way. So this is reaction formation. A person with a strong sexual desires trying to become a holy man or a religious person to control them. You see, here it is reaction formation. A person with more problems will be more funny. You see, means behaving in opposite direction. Exactly, our behavior, our situation is in more pain, more problem, but we are behaving in a more funny way. You see, so this is basically the best example. You take the example of Charlie Chaplin's life. You see, his personal life is more miserable, but he's a world famous comedian. You see, this is basically reaction formation. Guys, you can look into this area. In poverty, more fun will be there. If you observe, people who are living in below poverty line, they'll be more funny. Why? To forget the pain of the poverty, they crack jokes. They have a lot of jokes. Sense of humor will be there. This is basically a defense mechanism, reaction formation. The fifth one is rationalization. You see, rationalization. What is exactly rationalization? You see, unreasonable things look like reasonable to you. What is unreasonable? You see, after failing in an exam, somebody bought a new pen and saying that with this pen I am going to pass next exam. You see, with a new pen, without preparation of the exam, you're going to pass or you're going to be the topper. You see, this is basically rationalization. Unreasonable things look like reasonable. The fox and the grape story, you see, the fox will try to catch the grapes. It tries multiple times, it fell down. It could not reach to the grapes. Finally, the fox says, "Chi, chi, chi, I don't want these grapes. The grapes are sour." You see, in Hindi, this poetry, this lesson was there for us in Hindi. So the fox and the grape story, you see, what you could not achieve, you say, I don't want. I don't want. Simply you will say whenever you could not achieve the goal, you say I don't want. This is rationalization, you see. You try to make it here like this. Now, there are many defense mechanisms. You know, displacement. One defense mechanism I'll discuss with you out of your out of the five. I will tell you. Displacement is what? Now your boss called you in the work. You are working in an office. Imagine your manager called you and shouted you. You come with that frustration to home, and you will show that frustration on your kids, or maybe your wife, or maybe on your husband. For a simple issue, you will show the frustration. You see, because you cannot fight with your boss. Boss is very authoritative. His manager, he can remove you from the job. He shouted you, but you cannot. You have the pain, but you cannot do anything to him because he is in the upper level. So now you will come back to your home and you will show that frustration on somebody like in a school level you take, if the principal is calling the teacher and principal is shouting the teacher cannot say anything to the principal, but he comes back and he starts shouting the children. You see, this is basically, I can say here, displacement. You focus on a weaker object to express your frustration, your aggression. You are leaving on a weaker object. It is displacement. Any example, applications, basically these are higher order thinking concepts for you people. Identification. What is identification? It's a defense mechanism. For example, if for example you take, the father could not become an IAS officer and the father makes his son or daughter to study IAS. When these children achieves this IAS rank, father feels here, or the mother or the father, they feel that it is their own achievement. You see, this is basically identification, a defense mechanism. Compensation is a defense mechanism. You could not succeed in one area, so you will try to show your abilities in another area. Like you see, the children who could not, do much better work, these children, the children who could not do the much better work, these children will try to do extremely well, or these children will do much better in the sports. This is a defense mechanism. Basically, you see, it's a defense mechanism. I can say compensation. Now let's have a look into the psychoanalytical stages of development. You see, psychoanalytical stages of development, 5-stage theory of Sigmund Freud. It is this 5-stage theory. We have the 5 important stages: oral stage, anal stage, phallic, latency, genital. In this theory, first stage is oral. In the oral stage, a newborn's instincts are focused on the mouth area, and this is the infant's primary pleasure seeking center. The child is trying to satisfy the wishes, the desires through the mouth. The infant achieves oral gratification through feeding, thumb sucking, biting, and babbling. You look into this area, the infants will achieve the oral gratification through feeding, thumb sucking, biting, and babbling. And also Freud says in this oral stage, the mouth is the erotic zone. In a very clear-cut way, Freud made a statement here. The child is trying to satisfy the sexual drives and desires while sucking the mother's breast here. The baby is not sucking the breast only for the milk, even for the sexual desires and satisfaction. The first controversy in this oral stage made by Freud it is. And also Freud made another statement: the basic feelings about the world, this world is a bitter place, or the world is a tough place to live and survive. That kind of feelings also going to get created in the oral stage of development, you see. The oral stage, 0 to 1 year, some of the books says, some of the books are saying that 0 to 18 months. Okay, babies experience the world through their mouth. If in the oral stage, fixation, try to understand, Freud made one concept here, fixation, what actually it is. Inability of a child to move from one stage of development to another stage is called fixation. For example, if the child is fixed in the oral stage, he will have certain habits like smoking, overeating, nail biting, chewing on pencils as adults. You see, basically these kind of things indicating that the child is fixed in the oral stage, means the child who is not happy in this stage will get fixed there only. He will not move from the oral to anal. In this stage, the basic feeling about the world is going to get established, and an adult who feels the world is a bitter place probably had difficulty during the oral stage of development, which I discussed with you people. Anal stage. Let's have a look into this area. The anal stage, if you see, anal stage is a stage which is beginning from 2 years, around 2 to 3 years of time it is. In this stage, the child learn to respond to some of the demands of the society. You see, I can say in this stage only the conflict between the id and ego will be there in the anal stage. The conflict between the id and ego will be there in this stage. In the anal stage, if you observe, the child will try to learn to respond to the demands of the society, one of which is made by parents, where the child learns to control the bodily functions of urination and defecation. In this stage, the children will try to put a lot of pressure on their bowels in order to urinate and eliminate. You see, while urinating and eliminating the bodily wastages, the child will try to experience the sexual desires of satisfaction. Freud says, and in this stage, the children are means the erotic zone is shifted from the mouth to the anus region, and the child, while putting a lot of pressure on his bowels to urinate and eliminate, he is experiencing the sexual drives and desires of satisfaction in this anal stage. And the parents will train the children, basically toilet training will be there in this stage. The parents will take the child and taking them to the washroom and making them to sit in the washroom in a comfortable way. You see, this kind of toilet training is taking place in the anal stage of development. The basic conflict between the id and ego is going to get created in this stage. So this is the main area, and let's make a move to the phallic stage, the most controversial stage it is. This stage focuses on the genital organs. At around 4 to 5, the 4 or 5 years, I can say maximum 3 to 5 years of age, actually the phallic stage we can say 4 or 5 years around. The child begin to realize the difference between male and female. You see, the child is going to recognize the difference between the men and women, and they become aware of their sexuality and the sexual relationship between their parents in the phallic stage. In this phallic stage, Freud raised, biggest controversies. The first controversy for the male child, he called it as Oedipus complex. Oedipus complex, the male child's love for the mother and hatredness for the father. The male child loves the mother sexually. Here it is love. The word which I am using is a very, very low level word, low profile term I am using. Actual Freudian psychology says here the male child means love. A phallic stage of development, in a simple way you can understand, it is characterized as love for the opposite gender parent and hatredness or dislike for the same gender parent here will be there. The male child loves the mother and hates the father. You see this image, how the male child is hugging the mother and kicking the father. You see in this image, this is a clear-cut example for you to understand the Oedipus complex. Oedipus, the word again taken from the drama of the Sophocles. Oedipus Raxi, Oedipus is the story of a prince actually. After the birth, after the birth, the astrologers will tell the emperor of Sparta to kill this boy because this boy will bring the disgrace to the kingdom. So after listening to the astrologers, the king will give this baby boy to soldiers to kill him, but the soldiers will not kill and they leave him in the forest. And one of the fishermen a group of fishermen will see this child and they will take him with them, and the baby will grow there. And he is habituated to live a rough life. When he become a young teenager, he want to find some better survival, so he comes to the city. You see his fate brings him to the city. In this drama, Oedipus unknowingly involved in a conflict in the city, and in this conflict he involves the king, who tries to resolve the conflict. Unknowingly he kills the king, his own father. And you see, he kills his own father, and the mourning queen means his mother comes to see the dead body of her husband, and she was mourning. She was mourning the time. The charm and the beauty of the queen attracts this boy, and by force he marries his own mother. When he come to know about this incident, he ran away in a forest and brutally he kills himself. This is the end of the drama. It's a drama, it's not a reality. From this drama, the Oedipus word was taken by Freud. Now, after some time, you see, we'll discuss about this area. Elektra, let's go to the female child. You see here it is female child. You see, Female child loves the father and hates the mother. You see, female child loves the father, hates the mother. The mind of the female child is filled with certain concepts. Symbolically, the female child is marrying the father and having the children with the father. Such kind of thoughts will be there in the mind of the female child. According to Freud, it is. You see, my fingers might be small, but I have got daddy wrapped around them. You see the word here. Someday I will find my prince. Someday I will find my prince charming, but my daddy will always be my king. You see, the female child loves the father and hates the mother. But Elektra, this word is not actually used by Freud. Carl Jung suggested this word for Freud. Again, Elektra is taken from the story of the Troy. Elektra is the daughter of Agamemnon. Elektra who makes her brother to kill the mother. There's a big story it is actually. Elektra is the daughter of Agamemnon and Clytemnestra. Clytemnestra had a relation with somebody. When Agamemnon returns from the Troy, Clytemnestra with her boyfriend, backstabs Agamemnon and try to escape from the palace. That time, Elektra, a powerful character, will enter in the drama. Elektra will imprison the mother and declares her brother as a king and motivates the brother to behead the mother here. You see, this is the word actually taken from the Trojan War story. So look into this Elektra complex and Oedipus complex. Both the two are the two important terms and more controversial. But the phallic stage, ending of the phallic stage, the child will realize, means the child will understand the relationship between the mother and the father and will try to imitate the qualities or the characteristics of the father to impress the mother. The male child will want to impress the mother. Female child will try to imitate the qualities of mother to impress the father. You see, this is happening here through modeling. And the fourth stage of the psychosexual development, if you see, latency. This is a stage which is beginning from 6 years or 6 or 7 approximately, we can say. We cannot say exactly. 6 years to 11 years of age, the child is entering inside the school and the child is busy in the school work. The child will make the team. The child will try to work hard. Mostly in the latency, the sexual desires will not be active. The sexual desires are not active. I think I can say here, latency is the only stage which is totally, I can say again, non-controversial. This is the one stage where Freud actually did not give more importance to sexual drives, desires, and impulses. After the latency, the child is entering into the genital stage. You see, this stage, the person attains maturity in psychosexual development. The sexuality fears and repressed feelings of the earlier stages will come back again. In this genital stage, means nearly it is 11 years and above. Genital stage, the psychological drive, sexual desires will come back. But these desires are not towards father, mother, towards the same age group people, opposite gender it is. And people will learn to express their sexual desires in a more matured way in the genital stage. This is the last stage of psychosexual stages of development. We discussed already about the fixation. You see here, if anyone get fixed in any one stage, for example, if anyone get fixed in the oral stage, they will have the habits of smoking, gum chewing, nail biting. If anyone could not pass from the anal stage, they have the habit of keeping the things in an orderly manner, obsessiveness, and rigidity will be there in the thought pattern, you see. You look into the phallic stage. If a child got fixed in the phallic stage, you see what are the qualities? Vanity, exhibitionism, pride will be there. And also, one higher order thinking question for you people here. A child who is hostile to the same gender parent in adolescence, basically you can understand he got fixed in the phallic stage. Children who are hostile to the same gender parent, if you see, they are fixed in the phallic stage according to Freud. For anything I am explaining here, I am using the word according to Freud it is, because most controversial topic it is. So with this, I can end the psychoanalysis. It will be helpful to you people for your revision purpose. You can review this area. Thank you for watching and stay connected with us.